I decided to ring a random local fish and chip shop. I picked one from the phone book that sounded proper old school, like the kind run by a no-nonsense owner who's been frying cod since the war. My persona? I was Reginald Thistlethwaite, Senior Inspector from the National Federation of Fish Fryers. Yes, I made that up on the spot, but it sounds official, doesn't it? I put on my poshest, most bureaucratic voice. Think a pompous civil servant mixed with a bit of BBC announcer. Dead serious, clipped tones, the lot. The goal was to conduct an urgent compliance inspection over the phone because their shop had been flagged in a national audit. I dialed the number, heart pounding a bit from the excitement. Me, in deep authoritative UK English. Good evening, this is Reginald Thistlethwaite, calling from the National Federation of Fish Fryers, headquarters in London. Am I speaking with the proprietor of shop name Fish and Chips? Victim, a gruff older bloke, sounded like the owner himself. Let's call him Dave. Yeah, that's me. Who's this again? Reginald Thistlethwaite, Senior Compliance Inspector. We've had a report come through our system this evening regarding your establishment. It's rather urgent, I'm afraid. Dave, initial confusion creeping in, but polite. Report? What report? We've not had any complaints. Me, building tension slowly. Well, sir, under the new EU-derived fish frying regulations 2021, post-Brexit amendments, you understand, every chippy must comply with the mandatory batter consistency protocol. Your shop has been randomly selected for a remote audit tonight. Dave, remote what? I've never heard of this. We've been open 30 years, mate. No one's ever called about protocols. Me, pausing strategically for effect, precisely why it's urgent. Failure to comply can result in fines starting at £500 and escalating. Dave, now a bit wary, attitude shifting to defensive. Hang on, this sounds dodgy. Who did you say you are? I assure you this is legitimate. First question. When you prepare your batter, do you use the approved ratio of 3 parts flour to 1 part sparkling water, with a pinch of bicarbonate of soda for lift? Dave, playing along reluctantly, yeah, something like that. What's this got to do with anything? Me, excellent. Now the next rule is critical. Under Section 14B, all fish must be patted dry with exactly 7 taps on each side before battering. No more, no less. Can you confirm your staff follow the 7-tap rule? Dave, laughing nervously now, confusion turning to irritation. 7 taps? Are you having me on, aren't you? We've never tapped fish 7 times. Me, deadpan, pausing before dropping the next bomb. I'm afraid not, sir. Irregular tapping leads to uneven crispiness, which is now classified as a public health risk. But that's not the worst of it. Dave, go on then. What's the worst? Me, escalating further, voice lowering for drama. We've received satellite imagery, yes, from the new Food Standards drone network, showing your shop's chimney emissions exceed the allowable vinegar vapor limit by 12%. That's grounds for immediate temporary closure. Dave, attitude shifting to proper annoyance. Satellite what? Drowns? Vinegar vipers? This is bloody ridiculous. Who put you up to this? Me, ignoring him, ploughing on. Furthermore, sir, pause, your chips, are they cut to the regulation length of exactly 7.5 centimeters? Anything longer risks being classified as a chip versus a fry, triggering VAT reclassification and back taxes. Dave, voice rising, outrage building. 7.5 centimeters? Back taxes? Listen, mate, I've had enough of this nonsense. You're talking absolute rubbish. One final check, and this is the most serious. Under the Animal Welfare Addendum, all fish must be read their rights before frying. A simple statement. You have the right to remain silent in the batter. Have you been doing this? Dave, complete loss of composure, hysteria creeping in, shouting now. Read their rights? To a bloody cod? Are you completely mental? Me, long pause for maximum tension, then dropping the bombshell calmly. I'm afraid there's no easy way to say this, sir, but according to our records, one of your haddock from last Tuesday's batch, pause, has filed a formal complaint. It's claiming emotional distress from being over-fried and is seeking compensation through the new Fish Justice Tribunal. Dave, complete loss of composure, absolute hysteria, outburst. A fish complaint? Emotional distress? You cheeky sod! This is a prank, isn't it? I'll find out who you are, and string of colorful swearing involving chips, batter, and where I could shove my regulations. Get off my phone! He was roaring down the line, slamming things in the background. Pure outrage. I held it together just long enough to say, "Thank you for your cooperation, sir. Audit complete." I couldn't resist the payoff. My mate was in stitches beside me, so I rang back immediately from the same withheld number. Me, dropping the posh voice, laughing. "All right, Dave, it's just a prank. Sorry, mate. You were brilliant." Dave, still fuming but catching on, voice softening a tad. "You little..." More swearing. "I was about to call the coppers. Nearly had a heart attack over a complaining Haddock." We chatted for a minute. He actually saw the funny of it once he calmed down, said it was the domdest thing anyone's ever sprung on him in 30 years. He even laughed about the 7-tap rule and told me to piss off and never ring again. But fair play. I hung up wheezing with laughter. My mate and I replayed it in our heads for weeks. To this day, whenever I get fish and chips, I think of poor Dave and his traumatized Haddock. Absolute classic. Tension built perfectly, absurdity ramped up just right, and that final complaining fish detail, chef's kiss. Best prank ever.